There's three really good teams in the NBA: Milwaukee, Phoenix, and Golden State.
Yeah.
Those are the three. Everybody else, you're along for the ride. We have a very defined three. And by the way, they're all incredibly likable. Milwaukee's star is humble, and the Phoenix is all these young guys and the sage veteran at point guard. And the Warriors got Steph and Clay and injuries, and they're still unbelievable. So we have three great teams in the NBA, and we start with this. The Lakers aren't one of them. They were blown out last night. More Westbrook drama. He got benched end of the third. Oh, by the way, the Lakers outscored the Bucks once he was benched. I'll get to Westbrook in a moment. You know, I think the world of LeBron James. He is arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, and he is probably a primary reason for the mobility of the league. If you don't consider leaving a team like Dame or Bradley Beal, we look at you and think, are you crazy? You've got options. So LeBron deserves a great deal of credit for the player empowerment in the National Basketball Association. But there is a downside, a duality to all of this, of course. College basketball is so transitional. You can't name any starters, even if you're a fan of a team. In the NBA, LeBron has an act. Here's what it is. He goes to a team. He prefers playing with older veterans, so you give up draft picks to craft a team for LeBron. He quickly, year two, wins a title. The old players get really old fast because they're not in the kind of shape that LeBron is. And then LeBron leaves, and you need a mop to clean up the mess. Miami, Cleveland, Lakers, rinse and repeat. Listen, you get a title. But the difference is, for Cleveland, that's a big deal. The Lakers sold their soul to LeBron, and they've already got 17. We ain't Cleveland. Westbrook, LeBron's idea. Melo, LeBron's idea. All the young guys, LeBron didn't want them, they're gone. So good luck trading young legs and getting other players. Draft picks, ship those off to get AD, and he can't stay healthy. The Lakers sold their soul. I get Cleveland doing it, and I understood Miami doing it because I think we all thought it would last longer than 4 years, and they got to the finals 4 straight years and won 2 titles, so I would back what Miami did. But the Lakers were not well run, and LeBron was a life preserver, and he is still a remarkable player. But the Lakers now have no draft picks of note, no flexibility, and a Westbrook contract that is an absolute anchor. I said it last week. This is a very distracted, competitive city. Unlike New York, where all the teams are underachieving or awful, in Los Angeles, everybody's winning. The Dodgers are great. The Rams are great. LAFC is strong. USC now has Lincoln Riley. The Chargers didn't make the playoffs, but probably the best team in the league that didn't with a rising star quarterback. The Lakers are in trouble. Forget championship team. They're bad. Brittle AD. Aging LeBron, and oh, by the way, last week sources say he'd leave to play with his son. Oh, great. He won't even help with the cleanup. After last night's humiliating thumping at home to a truly elite organization, and by the way, Golden State, Phoenix, and Milwaukee all do it the same way. Owners own, coaches coach, players play, GMs GM. But when you're poorly run and a bit dysfunctional and chaotic like the Lakers over most of the last 7 to 8 years, you have to take big swings. They did. They're now in trouble, and LeBron admitted as much afterwards. Again, the way to solve this is with a great front office. Not a possible solution. As far as Westbrook, I'm done picking on him. What do you want me to say? When you bring in aging stars like Westbrook and Carmelo, one of the difficulties is self-awareness. They're rich. They're great. They got shoe brands, they got fans, and it's very hard to convince them as they age they're not nearly as crucial as they used to be. So now it's sort of getting ugly between Frank Vogel, who's benching him, and the aging star who, and I get it, I'll probably in 10 years be the same way. I got my fastball, maybe once a week. The reality is Westbrook is aging like lots of stars age. To be honest with you, he's handled it well. He's playing poorly. He's eroding fast. His free throws are down, meaning this thing's getting in his head. He does it with a smile. He's not snippy like he was in Oklahoma City. I'll defend Westbrook again. You brought him on. He has a game. He's not playing well in the last couple of days, but what did you want? And with that, we segue to a question. Why don't all these professional leagues count the playoffs and the postseason in their MVP voting? Right? The MVP is a magnificent award. Kareem's got 6, most ever. How do I know that? Because it's the MVP. But we don't count the postseason for most valuable player. And I'll give you an example of how ridiculous that is. When I say Aaron Rodgers' season, do you see it as a success? Packer fans don't. Matt LaFleur doesn't. Aaron Rodgers doesn't. And he'll win the MVP. How small will he look holding a trophy up? Couldn't beat the Niners at home in a playoff game as a favorite, and they didn't score a touchdown. And Joe Burrow is potentially by Sunday hoisting a Super Bowl trophy. How small, how meaningless will the MVP be? We define all these legacies based on the postseason. It's why we don't bring up Marino when we talk great quarterbacks, even though he is as gifted as anybody who's ever played the position. No titles. It's why when we mention great players, I've always thought we discount Barkley, who I think is one of the 10 best basketball players I've ever seen. He didn't have a title. It's why Russell with 11 and Michael, we think of 6 for 6. I don't even know how many MVPs Michael won. I just know how many finals he won. Here's how ridiculous the most valuable player award is. The MVP has not won a Super Bowl since 1999. Is that not ridiculous? Tom Brady played for forever. And in his entire career, Kurt Warner's the last to do it. An MVP didn't win the Super Bowl. What does the MVP mean? Is it really most valuable? Or let's just rename the MVP, because it should be Joe Burrow. We should count the playoffs. The MVP should be called the quarterback with the best stats in the regular season. With this side note, helps if you play in a bad division. Yeah, nobody's won from the NFC West in over 15 years. I mean, at least in college football, the hokey Heisman usually goes to an SEC player because there's some value in thriving in the greatest college football conference. But Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's won 3 MVPs. Kind of makes it silly, doesn't it? He's got more than twice as many Super Bowls. To not give Joe Burrow the most valuable player, and by the way, all of us know the value of Aaron Rodgers. That I'm not discounting. Or the value of Brady in Tampa. The Bengals arguably have the 4th best roster in their division. They were picked 4th by virtually everybody in the country that doesn't live in Ohio. And Joe Burrow will not win most valuable player. If they didn't win before him, if he left tomorrow, they wouldn't win after him. Hell, Aaron Rodgers took over a franchise. His first day as a starter, they were coming off an NFC Championship appearance. Starr, Favre, Rodgers, Pro Bowlers, elite O-lines. Aaron is absolutely valuable to the Packers, but could I not make the argument if Aaron left, I don't think he will, but if he left, and they went and got, I don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo, they'd still win the division. You think the Bengals would be in the Super Bowl without Joe Burrow? The MVP should feel grand and fantastic, and it's going to look so incredibly small when Joe Burrow doesn't win it this year. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.